Hello. I'm kind of waiting for YouTube to catch up here because YouTube still says that I'm not on yet. Because YouTube's stupid, of course. There we go. Okay, now YouTube says I'm here. Hello. All right. Hello. Welcome to my garage. I know. I have a whole skit about the garage. Now my phone's going to go off a million times. So if you're wondering where I've been this whole week, it's been dealing with this bullshit. I don't often have like lives like this, but I'm kind of feeling at my wit's end. So I don't know. But anyway, before I start, I should say hello. Aaron, you finally made it to Patreon. First, I'm very proud of you. Hi, Tony. I haven't seen you lately. How are you doing? Aaron, I'm really glad you actually made it to Patreon. I was really proud of you. It really was simple. Like once you got there, it was really simple, huh? Hey, Amy. Hey, me needing to pee. Hey, Mr. Pork. You know, it's really funny. We had a members only live the other day. And it was just, it was just for like the paid members. And so there were just a few of us. And I actually got to hear Mr. Pork's voice for the first time. And it was so weird because I'm not used to hear, like, I've never heard his voice before. So it's like, you always imagine someone like how you think that they'll be. I probably should have speaking of voices, see, you can make yourself, look, there's a little string right there. It looks like a little smiley face. Look at that. I must have been sewing. Can you believe I have a real sewing machine and I know how to sew? But anyway, like if you use your microphone the right way, you can make yourself sound really sexy. But I don't do that. But anyway, if you have a good microphone, it really can make all the difference. And lighting can make all the difference. But I keep trying to turn it around because what I really want people to see is, oh, Jesus, there went my second monitor. See, I'm not really good at this stuff. And when I do it the wrong way and something falls out, it never comes back. Like I'll have to restart my whole computer. So I'm trying not to fuck things up too bad because I don't want to have to restart my whole computer. So I'm just going to lay this down. God, I swear to God, for someone who owned probably like 4 tech companies, like I started in the 90s as an entrepreneur and as a .comer. You'd think that I wouldn't be such a blonde as I am. But anyway, one of my kids is home sick from school, so I'm probably gonna have to go up in a few minutes and just, check on him and make sure he's been getting these migraines lately, and I think it's more emotional because there's so much drama that it feels like there's going on because of these issues. And I've actually learned a lot about narcissism, and there is called narcissistic mothers, and it's really, really interesting. Like I kind of went down the rabbit hole on the whole like narcissism thing, and everyone's heard of narcissism because it's like hold on, I gotta zip this. It's kind of like, ow, I just hit my toe. Ow, that hurt. Ow, ow. I've just been having one of those days. I have a room. There's like a 4th bedroom down here. And this is where we've been keeping Sam. So I've been sleeping down here a lot because he likes to sleep with me and he won't go all the way upstairs to the master. So, I've kind of put a real bed in it because it used to be the game room. How do you know how to put a zipper in a hoodie? Favorite hoodie? Well, you can take the whole zipper out and then sew it in. Or if it's just come apart, it's just come apart, you can actually use a fork to get it back in together. Maybe we'll get on Discord and I'll show you, but it's really easy. But it depends on if you need to replace the whole zipper, and that's super easy how to sew in a zipper. But it's even easier. Actually one of these came apart and it fell out of one side, and so and you can't just get it back on. And the best way, there's a fork method. That sounds funny. There's a fork method, but I'll show you. It's really easy. We'll get it back in there. However it is, we'll get it back in there. But anyway, I'm trying to make it all nice down here. Like I got like an actual bed down here because it used to be just the game room, and that's where the kids like played, and we had like I don't know if you've ever seen it, but we had like a 60-inch and a 50-inch and dueling PS5s, and the kids loved it, but they've kind of outgrown it. And so I was trying to put these cool lights up on, and ow, and I fell. I literally like slipped, and so the table was here, and it went. My leg went like that, and like, ugh. Ugh, I got a big old boo-boo. I'm just like, ugh. We'll fix your hoodie. It did like the whole zipper come out, or did it like you like zipped, and so like the zipper like came off, so the zipper is still like kind of on half of the, like the zipper is on half the zipper, but it's not on the other half of the zipper, if you know what I mean. Like either way, we'll fix it. I'm actually a really great sewer. See, I was so poor. This is how, well, there's a few ways you know you're poor. You know you're poor if you knew what government cheese was. You also know you're poor if your mom sewed all your clothes. That's how poor I was. When I was in middle school, we didn't go to stores and buy clothes. We went to like Joann Fabrics and we picked out like, that's a cute dress. And then we picked out material and my mom sewed my clothes. That was at a time before people like, now, oh my God, I can't even imagine people would like look in and be like, and that's not like, oh my God. I'm so glad I have sons because like my one son goes to high school next year and I can't even imagine girls in high school. They're probably all like, they'd probably all be like, oh, is that a Chanel hat? Oh my God. Like they care about that kind of stuff. So a high school girl where I live would be and boys, they're just like, my sons actually, they make lists on Amazon, and Amazon actually does have some really nice stuff. Like they do have, but they do have nice stuff. So they just go on Amazon and they like, but anyway, we'll fix your zipper. But I'm having like this huge familial problem, and it's like this week I told you guys I was going to do a skit. And I was going to do a couple of skits. And one skit was going to be about my garage here. And I had another skit that was going to be about someone who decided to turn on me and call me. So I had all these skits planned out. And I didn't get to any of them. Oh, the zipper part is gone. No, well, I can send you all stuff. We'll fix it. Don't worry. So I had all these skits planned. And I just couldn't like mentally get into it. And it's just, I have this thing hanging over my head. And if you've ever dealt with people and so what I'm dealing with, gosh, I don't even know where to begin. It's like, how many people have actually hardcore dealt with a narcissist, like big time? And I'll give you like a few minutes to answer because I know that like, it literally will take a minute for like your answers to get there. And in the meantime, I think I want to put some earrings on. See, that's so funny. Like the way a certain person made it sound that I'm living in my garage was like I was some broke ass bitch living in my garage, with my little plastic thingies for my shoes and my purses and my clothes, my little like this is cool. See, this is like, let me see if I can just. This is like. This is where I can put my, and it's a mirror. It's a big mirror, walk-in mirror. And then all my jewelry can go in it. That's pretty badass. That's the coolest thing that I think I've ever received. But anyway, so while you guys tell me, so you've dealt with, so like I'm dealing with, so basically, well, I figured out what I'm doing here. See, that's what I've been trying to do. Like I've been in a grumpy mood. And one thing that I've realized is when you're in a bad mood and you're feeling down in the dumps, the best thing to do is to like go out, like go get ready. Like I'm a stay-at-home mom. I could never shower and be a bum and never, like my kids are always like, why do you even bother to get dressed? Like most days I don't even leave the house. And if I do, it's to drive them to school or to go to the P.O. box. Like all those shoes over there, why I have them, they always make fun of me. Why didn't you wear half of them? Well, there is something that like makes you feel better about like getting dressed and like making yourself presentable. It just lifts your spirits a little bit. So what I've been trying to do is like, try and like put myself together, like as if, like imagine if I was a radio presenter and like I just rolled out of bed with my flyaways everywhere and no makeup and just was like, and sat down at the news table and was like, hello, today there was a, people would be like, eh. Like you couldn't do any sort of television job where you didn't at least, and I'm not talking about like fakeness or prettiness. I'm just talking about like cleanliness and like, just putting yourself together. You know what I mean? Like not coming on in your PJs. Like imagine a broadcaster coming on in their PJs where they obviously haven't even washed their face or brushed their teeth. Like you would not want to watch them. That would be gross. So, I try and like at least do the minimum. And it does. It makes you feel a little better in life when you feel like, I've kind of, I don't know. I've kind of like put myself together a little bit. It does make you feel a little bit better about yourself. It's a good thing to do. So if you're down in the dumps, one of the best things you can do is actually like, it lifts your spirits. It makes you feel a little bit cuter. And even if like my kids are always like, why do you do it? Like for daddy, you've been together 20 years. No, I don't, even though the rumor is that I guess he kicked me out. So I assume if he kicked me out, we're not together anymore. So, but we are. So, but anyway, but they're like, is it for daddy? And I'm like, hell no, and I'm like, it's funny. Women look cute for women way more than they try and ever look cute for men. Women really don't care. Like we do our hair, we do everything for men. It's kind of fun. Can you get out of here so I can, what are you stuck on there? But anyway, I'm like, no, I'm like, I just do it. So I feel like, I don't know. It just makes me feel a little bit more, I don't know, whatever. But so my problem is more dealing with the mother-in-law and the brother-in-law. And I'll tell you this. So the first phone call I had with the brother-in-law. So my husband and I went away. We went to Mexico for 2 weeks. I'm more chipper when I feel you do. Like, if you have to go to the grocery store, like you just do. You just, and like I said, it's not about like, oh, you're pretty or you just kind of feel a little bit more like clean and you got perfume on and you just, I don't know, you just feel a little bit about yourself when you feel like you've, I don't know what I'm saying. But anyway, so anyway, my first conversation with the brother-in-law was he called me out of the blue and I was like, hey, thinking like, hey, man, because I was married once before, but we didn't have kids. Like I'm like 1950s style. I kind of don't believe in divorce once you've had kids, unless there's abuse and stuff going on. But if you're just like bored of each other and blah blah blah, it's like you paid to play. You got some kids. Those kids don't deserve to have to like go house here, So I'm kind of old school. So, like, I don't really believe in once you have kids, like, you get divorced. I believe that until that last kid leaves the house, you stay together in the house. Maybe you live in separate bedrooms or something, but you don't date other, you let the kids have their, you don't upheaval the kid's life because you're bored and want to go bang someone else. You paid to play, suck it up, buttercup. But anyway, I don't know how I got on that. Anyway, so what was I saying? So anyway, so I don't know what I was saying, but I get cute for no one. You still got your family and love. Be happy. Yeah. I could be doing a lot worse. I could be certain other people. But anyway, so my big problems are this mother-in-law And, you know, what's funny is, so these people are uber Catholic, like uber, hey, Jules, like uber Catholic, right? So my husband didn't really want to say that I had been divorced because he thought his mother would judge me because I'd been divorced. And that's like a major sin to the Catholic Church. And she's majorly Catholic. And so he waited till the last minute. Like, I think it was during like a wedding, like during the rehearsal or something crazy like that. Lightning Tiger, oh my God, help, I'm getting tased. Well, who the heck's tasing you there, Lightning Tiger? I mean, I don't know. Like, usually you're getting tased, which means you're standing there and someone's tasing you. So maybe you should stop doing what's tasing you. Unless you're trying to be a little cute and say, I'm tasing you. I don't really know what you're trying to do. Anyway, so I remember he finally told, I think it was at the rehearsal, he told her, and she said something like, well, I guess we'll still accept her and love her because we already know her. Like, was I the Unabomber? Like, I guess we'll still accept her and love. What kind of comment is that? I mean, for real. That's, I don't know about you, but I think that's kind of a fucked up comment to say. Like, I guess we'll still accept her because, I mean, like, I don't know. I want to use this chat. So, I don't know. But that's like, that was, the whole Catholic thing. And that's why, my husband didn't tell her for a long time because, she probably was going to act like that. And that was, that was incredibly judgy, incredibly rude. It made me feel horrible. I felt like about like this size is, big. It was like, it was just rude. It was really, really rude. And it was really, really hurtful. And wait, you meant yourself about what? Yeah, if you still get your family, be happy. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel more chipper when I like feel a little more put together too. So anyway, she said that to me and I was just like, it just like kind of like brought me down a level. I was like, that was just kind of rude, So, and my husband has always said, like, before I got married, like the first time I went to meet his parents, he's like, I want to let you know, my parents, I'm the black sheep of the family. I've never fit in with them. I don't know if they've ever really like loved and accepted me. They've always just kind of, loved all my siblings more than me. And, they just, if I have 2 beers, they're going to call me an alcoholic. And like, he works in the hospitality industry. So like he worked at a brewery at the time. So, like, obviously he's like 200-pound guy. Most of the time he drank more than 2 beers. So anyway, we go out to dinner with them and everything. And I remember at one point she said, oh, do you have to drink so much beer? You're going to be an alcoholic. And he had 2 and I had 3. So I remember thinking like, oh, damn, I've had more than him. But anyway, so she was totally judgmental about me and the divorce thing, right? So then the other son, he gets a girl knocked up. There's no marriage in sight. Like, that's way worse in the Catholic thing than getting a divorce. In the old days, what that was called. I remember one time, I think I was 10, and, I came from a single mom, and I remember the pastor doing in his little speech, whatever the heck they're called. I forget. I have not been to church in a long time. He basically called me the B word because he didn't know that I really did have a father. They were just, divorced. So he called me a bastard. You know, I mean, that's Catholics for you, you know? So it was totally, you know, ridiculous that I had been divorced and she had put me down, but yet the other son, you know, like he can do no wrong. And so I've looked into the whole narcissism thing, and there's a thing called, yeah, totally. Like, I mean, I remember when she got pregnant because they were dating and they did not have a good relationship. And everybody was like, you need to break up with this girl because he would miss family events. She was not nice to people. Everybody like prayed they would, you know, break up. And he wanted her, he wanted to break up, but he was too much of a wuss. And we just kept saying, you know, if you do not make, sorry, I'm desperately, you know, 50 years, I'm Italian, so I got my ears pierced when I was 2. 50 years I've had my ears pierced, and I somehow, they've closed up. It's ridiculous. But anyway, you know, we kept telling him, if you don't make a decision, one will be made for you. And I was like, you know, and they apparently use the calendar method, aka pull-out method. So of course she gets pregnant, you know. So I remember my mom called her mom, and her first question was, so when's the wedding? Crickets could be heard, because if somebody got me knocked up, you better believe they'd be making an honor, you know. And I don't want to get all like, you know, whatever, but if my husband, if we weren't married, gosh, why can I not get this in? Sorry, I'm trying to get this earring hood. If he had not, if he got me pregnant and was not talking about marriage, oh, there would be a knock at the door from someone my grandfather knew, and they would be setting up a wedding for him. That's for darn sure. There's no way he would be getting away with that. Because then, you know, the child has his last name. Oh, damn it. You know? Like, I can't imagine going through all that, and then you're like signing your kid up for school, and it's like, what's your kid's last name? And it's like, not your last name. That would just be weird. Anyway, so, you know, like my mom's like, when's the wedding? And she's like, I don't think there's gonna be one. And my mom was just like, really? You're not like enforced? And she's like, oh no, they can do whatever they want. You know, and I remember the first time I stayed at their house, it was Christmas Eve, it was my birthday. And they wouldn't let us sleep in the same bed. So I had to sleep in a queen bed with this woman that I had never met on my birthday. And he slept on a couch in the living room because she's like, well, you're not engaged yet. And technically, until you're engaged, you should not be sleeping in the same room. But no other siblings of his had to, you know. So she's always treated him differently. And apparently that's called, so the brother that she likes is the golden child. And then my husband is the scapegoat, and then the sibling, the other sister, is called the flying monkey. See, there's all these terms. I've learned so much about like narcissism. But anyway, so she's the matriarch. So she's a narcissist matriarch, which means she has to rule everything. Hey, glitz and glams chick. I am totally diverting from my normal content, and I'm talking about narcissists because I'm having a bit of an issue with my mother-in-law. Actually, I'm not having an issue with my mother-in-law. I'm having an issue with my brother-in-law. And I don't know. I don't know. I just, it's disgusting. It's just disgusting. I mean, so first of all, the grandparents abused my children. Let's just throw that out there. I found out that they abused my children. Now, it's not sexual or anything like that, although there is a story of them dragging my one child across the room. So apparently there may have been some physical issues, but most of it was just emotional and mental. and, stuff like that. They're kind of like that Catholic. Why can I not get this earring in? Oh my God. They're kind of like that Catholic, it's my way or the highway. Like if I say you cannot use technology, you should not use technology. And so, the parents are like, we don't use technology. We don't think you should live your life this way, blah, 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 blah. That brother completely does whatever mom says. If mom says, then whoop, we got to do it. And girlfriend, she does it. Girlfriend does it. Right? So, but me, I'm not going to do shit. I'm going to do what I want to do. So we get to the wedding. My husband finally balls up and says, okay, she's divorced. Well, I guess we'll still accept her for the marriage tomorrow and love her because we already know her. Rudest comment ever. Okay. Then other brother has a child out of wedlock. Nothing said about it at all. Are you getting married? No. When's the wedding? Like total different standards. We live in California, okay? Houses are expensive. She bought a house for the sister to live in with her boyfriend before they were married. Okay. So I was not allowed to sleep in the same bedroom with my boyfriend who I lived with before we were engaged because that was a sin. Made me feel bad about being divorced, but bought a house for the other sister to live in until they got married, and is totally fine with the brother having a child out of wedlock and still living together, I mean, it sounds old-fashioned, but I mean, I think you should try the merchandise before you buy. I mean, shit, there's no way I'd be like going marrying a man if I didn't try the merchandise. You never know. Like I have slept with the man with the smallest penis in the world. And I think I've told that story before. And it's true. I did. I think I slept with, and if it was not the smallest, well, I hope the guy who has the smallest doesn't die because then he will be. But I was like, is it in? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, really? Didn't notice that. But I literally think I slept with the man with the smallest penis. So I think you have to try the merchandise before you buy it, because if not, imagine wedding night, man with smallest penis in the world. And you're like, oh, damn, I got fucked. So anyway, so we've got this family, right? And they have treated me like dog bung since the day they've met me, and they were totally fine with me until, like I said, I had been divorced. Like I was really good friends with the great grandma, the mom's mom. I had red hair at the time, and if anyone wants to come up, let me know, and I'll put a link down because I don't mean to be the only one talking here, but I always forget to do that. But so I called her my red. So she found out that, I had been divorced. So she wasn't at our wedding because she was old at the time. She was like 90. So she just sent in a speech that the mom read. This, everybody from my family to my friends came up to me and said, does she know that he's marrying an actual person? Because this speech, acted as if I didn't exist. It didn't say my name. It didn't talk anything about me. It was just glad that you found happiness and hope you can, it was the most bizarre speech I've ever heard in my life. I mean, literally, it was she didn't realize that he's marrying a person and she might want to talk about the person too. It was weird. And she never talked to me after that. Not once, not a word, never spoke a word to me after that. totally dissed me. So clearly the divorce thing, right, obviously must have been important because I pretty much got 86 from the family. And then, even before we got married, I remember we came home from Mexico and we decided we're going to have a small wedding, right? Like 70 people max. Now, mind you, this is California. We decided we wanted to get married at an Auberge property, and it's very expensive. And so we decided we were capping the number of people at 70 people, which, it's expensive. And, and I'm not a rich bitch. I'm like, maybe if I lived in another state, I might be, but living where I live, I'm like your average girl, right? So anyway, 70 people. I mean, when you have weddings out here, they're like $300-400 a plate. I'm trying to get a back of an earring here. So, 70 people, that's a lot of money, and that's just the food. You might want to have some wine, you might want to have like a bar, an open bar at the beginning of the wedding. So, we're talking, 5-figure wedding here that I'm paying for. Right. So we go and we get back from Mexico and we're like, we got engaged and blah, blah, blah. And here's what we want. We're going to have it at one of these properties, and we've made appointments, and we've decided to have like 40 to 70 people. Like, we really want it to be intimate, and we want everyone there to be someone both of us know. Right. So then the mom takes me aside and she hands me a piece of paper and she said, here's the list of people from our side of the family. And it's a list of 70 people. Do I not know anybody? I mean, do I not get a person at the wedding? Like, what the fuck is that? You just heard us give our spiel about what we want in our wedding. And then you hand me a list of 70 people as your list from your side of the family. Hello? Anyone home up there? Anybody? Earth to noggin. So I'm kind of upset. And I take my husband outside. I'm like, well, I just got a list of 70 people from your side of the family. So he starts looking at it and he's like, who are these people? And he doesn't know who any of these people are. And so, he goes, I'm like, you handle this. This is your mom. You handle this. Like, I'm not like, and like, why is she coming to me? Talk to your son about this. So she's like, oh, that's your second grade teacher. I see her every once in a while. I'm sure she'd love to see you. And he's like, where does she live? And she's like, Virginia. And he's like, Mom, I don't think she's going to fly from Virginia to California to see someone who was in her second grade class get married. And she's like, oh, well, maybe not, but, I'd love to see her. So, I want to put her on the list. And it's like, you want to see her. So you put her on the list. Okay. And when you have a list, you have to have the money to pay for all those people. Like, if you invite 150 people, you need to be able to pay for 150 people. Like, they might not all come, but the worst thing that could happen is and then 150 come and you're like, oh, I don't have the money. And, you're washing dishes the rest of your life, so finally I was like, you know what? Because this went on and on. And my first conversation with the brother-in-law was, he called me and he said, you're a bitch. He said, how dare you make my mother cry? Because she gave you a list of people that are important to her to have there, and you won't let her have them there. And I was like, excuse me? Like, who are you talking to? Like, she's had her own wedding. She doesn't get a say at this one. I don't care if she'd like to see someone there. Like, that's my wedding. She's had her own wedding. Go zip it. So finally I said, you know what? I said, here's the deal. You can invite as many people as you want. Just give me a check for $400 for each of them, and we'll send them out an invitation. Well, suddenly none of those people mattered. Amazing, wasn't it? And I paid for the whole thing. So it's like, so her 70 people went to zero once she had to pay for them. If I had to pay for them, then it was going to be good and dandy. So, that was kind of my introduction to her. And before that, we had a great relationship, you know, but after that, everything changed. Everything changed. She did not like me. The great grandma, like, never spoke to me, not a word again. And the brother-in-law called me and told me I was a bitch. And then right after that, he called my husband and said, you know, how can you marry this woman when she treats your mother that way? You know, you really need to rethink marrying her. Like, it was ridiculous. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. It went from they were so happy to be gaining a daughter to like they just lost their son in the worst way possible. So, I mean, it got to the point where I literally threw my wedding ring down the hill and said, if you want to marry me, we're eloping. If not, get the fuck off my property. Because I bought this house before we got married. But he's kicking me out of it. Anyway. So, you know, we ended up doing what we wanted to do. And it was funny because everything changed with my relationship with their family after that. Because what I've learned is the worst thing for a narcissist is to not be able to control somebody. That's like their biggest, like, worst nightmare, like not being in control. Because for them, they have to be in control, they have to be the center of attention, and everything has to revolve around them. Like that. I'm still trying to put this fucking earring in. Can you believe this? Anyway, I'm not a controllable person. I mean, you know, I believe that everybody should be able to do what they want as long as they don't bother other people. Like, you know, go do what you want. You get one life. You should be happy, you know, right? Like, go be happy. Don't do something because someone else wants you to. Like, I would never do something because like, you know, I've heard people make, oh, I can't believe, like, I remember Purple used to say for the longest time that I got my boobs because my husband made me. And it's like, are you freaking kidding me? I would never. And at the time I was married to my first husband and he was livid that I got them. He didn't want me to get them. But I had a medical condition and I kind of needed to get them. So I did. And, you know, and I was like, I'm doing this because I want to, and I'm a survivor, and this is what I want to do. And I've saved my money for it. And I don't care. I'm not doing it for some other girl. I'm not doing it for a guy. I'm doing it for me because this is my, like, you know, woohoo for surviving. So anyway, it was just kind of funny. But like, I'm kind of like a do what I want kind of girl. Like, I'm going to do what I want and I don't really care what anybody thinks about it. Like, I don't know. I don't think once you're an adult, I don't think anybody has a right to tell you what to do. Before you're 18, like, yeah, you have parents and, you know, they might need to have, you know, they know better than you. But once you're 18, your life is your own. So quit complaining. If you got shit going down, fix it. Quit complaining about it. You know, if someone tells you what to do, you don't have to answer to anybody. You don't have to, like, you're an adult now. You go deal with your own shit, right? So she hated me from that moment on because I would not do what she wanted me to do. And the funniest thing was the brother's girlfriend, she will kiss butt like nobody's business. She will do anything that mother says to do. Like, it's ridiculous. She even talked him into getting her a wedding ring, and he never gave it to her. Never gave it to her. And this was before she got pregnant. Like, but I mean, all she wants to do is get married, and he won't marry her. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know how she does it. I honestly don't know how she does it because I can't imagine just like giving up the things that I wanted and the things that were important to me and doing things the way someone else wants just to make someone else happy. I don't get that. Like, I couldn't do that. So she hates me because I'm the uncontrollable one. And my husband has always felt like the black sheep. He's always felt like he didn't fit in. And I see why, because he's not really going to just go with the flow or their power either. But he also didn't necessarily stand up for me very well the first, 20 years, because he's just one of those people who he'd rather like say nothing than start a fight. So like if someone says something, he'll just be like, and move to the next topic. Hey, Aaron, then like start a fight about it, you know? So like so when we found out that the kids were getting abused, the oldest one kept coming up to me and just giving me bear hugs and saying like, please don't make me ever have to see that woman again, please, I don't want to, you know. You wouldn't tell me why. And you know, so I told my husband, you know, you need to talk to your mother, something's going on. And she pulled the typical narcissist thing. Why would you do this to me? Why are you trying to hurt me? Like, why would you say that to me? I can't believe you would say that to me. Why are you hurting me? And turned it all to like his feelings are wrong. How dare he have those feelings? You know, never for once was like, well, what did the child say I did? I'm so sorry. I would never want to, like, what can I do to fix this? It was all like, how dare you say that to me and make me feel bad? Like, you're the worst son ever, right? So he, of course, has been raised by this woman. So he, like, you know, puts his head between his legs and he thinks back. And he comes to me. Sorry, I'm trying to put an earring in that will just not freaking go in my ear. And he's like, I failed miserably. Your turn, you know, because we have to do the good cop, bad cop. So he fails. So then I basically write a text that says the same thing, right? So she texts him back, and I have a screenshot of this text. And she says, because she thinks I'm crazy. She thinks I'm crazy. Like, right? I do all these things because I'm crazy. So she says, is Michelle sick again? Oh, I just told you my name. Is Michelle sick again? You know, I really wanted to be her friend, but it's impossible to have a relationship with her. I feel really bad for you because you have to keep the peace between her and the rest of your family. What? You did something to our kids, and that's your answer? What's wrong with me? Like, what? What? I mean, are you kidding me? This woman is mental. Like, and that was 4 years ago. 4 years ago. So I tried and I tried my might to like get her to understand, you know, like what you're doing and how to fix it. And it just, so finally I gave them an ultimatum and I said, you need to go get therapy, because my kids both had to go through therapy. I mean, here's one of the worst things that happened was, God, I still can't get this in my ear. Um, is she got mad. I told her that my son was allowed to eat his Cheerios while he watched cartoons. And when he was done eating his cereal, then he could turn the TV off and then they could do something else. Well, she walks in the room. He's in the middle of eating his Cheerios and she just turns the TV off and walks away. Doesn't even say a word. And he's all upset because he's like, wait a minute, that wasn't what was supposed to happen. I was supposed to get to finish my breakfast. So he tries to come down, and I was working because I worked. And, you know, I always worked and I always had a nanny. So I could work, but I could be there to like be there for the first fall down and, you know, all that milk that, you know, I breastfed. And so he's all upset and she's like, I got this. That's what I'm here for. You stay down there and work. I'll take care of it. So anyway, it ends up turning into this knockout, drag down fight. And she drags him across the living room floor into the bathroom. And he had had this like trauma. I don't think anything ever happened. But for some reason, he was terrified of being in the bathroom alone with the lights off. So she tries to make him have like a timeout in the bathroom alone in the dark. And he can't because he's terrified of this. Like, he's terrified of this. This is his worst nightmare. So all I hear is him like screaming, Mommy, Mommy, help me, help me. So I go and try and come up the stairs from the office to go to the bathroom to see what's going on. And she keeps meeting me like halfway up the stairs. Like, no, you just go down there. I got everything in control. That's what I'm here for. Like, don't worry about it. Everything's fine. And I'm like, are you sure? Because it doesn't sound fine. And she's like, no, it's all okay. You know, it's just, you know, when kids have to get a timeout. Sometimes they don't like it. And I'm like, all right. So twice this happened. So the third time I go up there, I'm like, I'm going up there because he's like screaming, and just the gut curdling, like, mommy, I like just the way he was screaming it. I just knew like something's really wrong. So I get in there and I like kick open the door, and there she is holding him down on the toilet, like literally holding him so he can't, hey, how you doing? So he can't get away. So she's holding him down on the toilet, and he's screaming and crying, and he's just like, mommy, help me, I'm scared, I don't know what to do. And she's like, he needs to learn, he needs to sit in here by himself for 10 minutes with the lights off, and he won't do it. And I was like, he is terrified. Hey, Cricket. And I'm like, he is terrified of the dark. He has never had a timeout in here, ever. He has never had a timeout in the dark. Like, why would you think that he would be able? God, I can't get this earring in. I'm trying to get an earring in. And I was like, why would you think that he would be able to do something that he's never done before? Why do you think he's screaming this loudly and freaking out this much? I'm like, did you ever think about that? And she's like, well, sometimes kids need to learn, and you put me in control. So, this is what I get to do. And I looked at her, I grabbed him, and I looked at her and I said, do not ever, ever touch my children or tell them what to do again. And I said, this is my house. I tell you what to do, and you follow my rules. And if you don't like it, you get the fuck out right now. I mean, I can be the nicest person in the world, but if you cross me, I can be the meanest person ever in this world. And I was just like, he is never, he is scared of in here in the dark. Like, and I just laid it out. And at that time, I didn't know that she had dragged him across the floor, and she dragged him across the floor, told him he'd never amount to anything. And I think he slapped her. She slapped him. I don't know. But anyway, like that was the last time. I mean, it was so bad I had to call my husband and say, come home from work. That's not good for you. Yeah, I mean, like that, and I didn't know. All I knew was she brought him in the bathroom at the time. But still, I just knew. You just know when your kids scream a certain way that like something's really wrong. So, I called him and I said, you need to come home, because if you don't, you might be bailing me out of jail, because I have no problem going to jail for beating the crap out of someone who needs to be beaten the crap out of. And I was pretty mad. I mean, like, you hurt my child. I mean, that's just, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I'll freaking go to jail for that. No problem. So, he comes home and he talks to her and da 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 da. And God, I cannot get this in. And so that was the last time she ever babysat for us. And really the last time we really ever saw her. Because after that, COVID came. And, just so many things went down. And so, I know I'm going on and on and on and on and on. And if anyone wants to come up because they have stories, just let me know and I'll put the thingy down there. But the brother, so finally I had my husband talk to his dad, because she had left the father out of all of this. Like, he knew none of this was going on. And so I said, told my husband, you should talk to your dad and tell him what's going on, because he knows nothing. And the first thing he said was, do you think that maybe me, is poisoning the boys? And that there's absolutely nothing going on, but she's just like made them think something's going on. Like, do you think maybe she's poisoned them against, the mother-in-law because she doesn't like the mother-in-law? And he was like, excuse me? No, I don't think that's what's going on at all. And he's like, you have not seen our children, how they've acted. They are terrified of her. I've seen it. Like, no, this is not my wife poisoning our children against the mother-in-law because of, like, no, that, and he didn't just be like, okay, I just had to ask. He said it 6 times. But are you sure? Because she says, are you sure? And I was sitting there right next to him, listening. So, I mean, that was hurtful as anything. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? I am Mama Bear. I would, like, if my kids told me that I needed to just shave my head and come on YouTube with a shaved head every day, I would do it in a heartbeat. Like, I would do whatever. God, I need to get a thing out of here and I can't see. I mean, I would do whatever my children asked me to do. I mean, bye-bye hair in a heartbeat. I don't give a shit. Like with kids, like even, I always tell my kids, your feelings are always valid. Like maybe what you do, like about your feelings, aren't really good, but your feelings are always right. You're always allowed to feel how you want to feel. How you act on them might be a different story, but you're always allowed to have feelings. I'm late and I missed the first part of the story, but the mothers definitely know our children. Yeah. So basically, my husband's mother is the narcissist, and she does not like me because I am not able to be controlled. And we found out later that she had been verbally and emotionally abusing them, and just all sorts of stuff like that. I mean, and that was the last instance that, like, I knew something was like dead wrong, when I could just hear it in his voice that he was just like, "Mommy, help me, I'm scared." Like, when your kid is like, "Mommy, help me, I'm scared," and the way he said it, I was like, that's not normal. And she tried to, like, "Well, you put me in charge," and I was like, does this seem normal to you? Like that he's this upset? Like use your noggin that you got, So they never babysat for us. My husband had to come home from work, so he remembers it quite well. And it just was bad. And then, we just tried to get them to just, apologize. Like the children had to go to therapy for it because they were like, what's wrong with me? Like, what did I do wrong? You know how kids are. They think everything is their fault. Like, parents get divorced, they think it's their fault. Someone dies, they think it's everything is their fault. So, like, I had to explain it's not your fault. And he was like, why don't they love me? And the brother has this child out of wedlock. Cricket, you probably missed that part too. They're extremely, extremely Catholic, to the point that when they found out that I had been divorced the first time, which I didn't have children with that person, so, whatever, I got divorced, she said, well, I guess we'll still accept you because we already know you and love you. Like, made me sound like I was an axe murderer. Like, I guess we'll still accept you. Like, if we had known that before, we wouldn't have accepted you and allowed you to marry our son. But since we already have gone through the process of knowing you, and we'll let it slide. It was the weirdest thing ever, So, like, divorce, really, really bad. Really, really bad. But the other brother gets his girlfriend pregnant, living with the girlfriend in sin, gets the girlfriend pregnant, doesn't marry the girlfriend, and that's totally okay. Totally okay. It's like, just fucked up shit. Just fucked up shit. So, we started trying to tell them, like, because COVID was really hard for them. Because, like, Thanksgiving, super Catholic. Like, and I guess something must have happened. And I don't know what it is, but I guess they used to be kind of normal. Like, they had like dinner parties and drank. And then something happened and they went like super Catholic. Like, just over the top. Like, like I'm like an everything in moderation kind of person. Like I think everything in moderation is fine. You want to drink? Do it in moderation. You want to fuck pigs? Do it in moderation as long as the pig is cool with it. Like, everything in moderation. Video games. Don't play GTA 24/7 when you're 5, but find an age appropriate game for an hour. Like everything in moderation, like that's just how I live my life. Because the funniest thing is, so the brother has this child, and he follows by the rules. Do. So, we can't take a picture. We tried to take a picture once, and we had like It's a Christmas Story on the TV, and we couldn't get a picture because he was just like the whole time, like, we couldn't get him to stop looking at the TV to take a picture. We had a Halloween party once, right? So we have this big candy drawer, right? And it's always full of candy. And, my kids rarely eat anything of it, like just here and there. So he comes over, he steals all the candy every time, wolfs it down. So we have this Halloween party. And so I go in because we put Hoobie Halloween on. Have you ever, if you have not seen Hoobie Halloween, it is one of the freaking funniest Halloween movie. It has Adam Sandler in it. And it's freaking funny as all get out. So we had Hoobie Halloween on. And I come in the living room and all the kids are sitting there watching, and he's sitting on a chair with literally 40 wrappers of stuff underneath him. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, did you really just eat 40 pieces of candy? Hoobie Halloween is good. It's Adam Sandler. It's really good. You will laugh your butt off. It's really good. I don't know if they have it out there. I assume they would, but you can change your VPN to get it wherever. And he's got like 40 wrappers because he's not allowed candy. He's not allowed sugar. Like, it's weird. And so I'm like, go to chase him, and he runs from me. So I'm like, okay. So I go up to his dad, and I was like, you might want to go find your son. I just found him with like 40 wrappers under his chair. He's probably going to throw up. Like, I don't know. And in the meantime, one of the girls who was at the party was like, well, I just thought you should know that little kid, he's been stealing everybody else. Because I gave everybody, we did a big scavenger hunt because it was during COVID. And so they shut down, you couldn't go house to house. You couldn't do that. So, they totally called off Halloween. So I had a scavenger hunt, because I got a big 2-acre property. So, I had like stuff like, under the convertible's tire, and, and there were like, snacks, and there were also like, games, and, all kinds of different things. And they had big bags, so I had big bags. So, and she's like, but he's like kind of stealing everybody's stuff. Well, and this girl was of an adult who I had just met and wanted to be. So how embarrassing is that? Like, hey, first time at my house, and yeah, my husband's brother's son is stealing everybody's candy. That's just great. So like he literally was going, like, while people were sitting there watching the TV, he was going from other people's bag to bag, going through it and stealing stuff. That's how repressed he is. So finally, then I had to tell him, and by the way, can you please tell your son not to steal my other friend's candy, because he's stealing other people's candy bags, and that's just rude. I haven't even gotten to the part where he pees all over the place. That's another story. And it's funny. I usually don't have lives like this, but I really need some advice here. And again, if anyone wants to come up and talk, just let me know, and I'll put a link down there. But I always forget. So finally he found him, and he was in the wheel well, like sitting, under the seat, like inside the car, like all covered up, like with like 40 more candy wrap, like. He was just binging on candy. He was just grabbing candy anywhere he could and like binging on it because he does not get candy at home. That's why I say everything in moderation. Because I asked my kid, I'm like, where's your candy bags? And they were both like, I don't know. I don't know. Like after the scavenger hunt, they're like, we put them down. So like my kids didn't even care about their candy. They're like, whatever. We don't care. We can have candy every day of the week. Whatever. Sugar overload, probably so sugared out. Like, I mean, I remember one time we stayed they live in San Francisco, and we stayed there, and we got a hotel, and we got pizza, and he wasn't allowed to pizza. She brought him like a little like thing of like his dinner, which was like celery sticks and I don't know, some other rabbit food. But you should have seen this poor kid. He was probably like 6 at the time, and he was just staring at the pizza that everybody else is eating, that my kids are eating, watching everybody else eat pizza, sitting there with his like carrot or celery stick. Like, come on. Your friends are on vacation. Let them have a piece of freaking pizza. My God. Did you hear that story? There was a really sad story, and this brought it home for me. So, you know how when somebody donates organs, they do the procession, and all the doctors and nurses will stand there and everything like that. And, you know, because they're going to go down and then take their organs and stuff like that. So they were doing that. And I guess the night before, the daughter, all she wanted was ice cream for dinner. That's all she wanted was ice cream for dinner. And they're like, no, that's not healthy. You're not having ice cream for dinner. Well, that was her last dinner that she could have ever had. You know, so they were just saying, like, you know, life's short. You know, maybe you should have just given her ice cream for dinner. She's never going to have a dinner again. You know, like, what would have been so bad having ice cream for dinner? You know, like they didn't know she was going to die the next day. But it's just like, you know, you don't know. Every once in a while, live a little bit. You know, everything in moderation. You can't have ice cream every meal for every day, but maybe every once in a while, you know, have it. His parents sound weird as fuck. Poor kid is going to be probably... Yeah, well, the poor kid only plays with Legos. That's the only toy he knows how to play with. He doesn't have electronics. He's not allowed to have electronics. So he can't type. Like when he comes over here, he always wants to play video games with my kids, but he can't type. Like, you know how most games are like the WASD, you know, those 4. He does not know. He doesn't know anything. And he's at a school where they don't teach reading. They don't start teaching reading until the 5th grade. So he like walked away we were at a Christmas parade, and I think he was in 4th grade, and he walked away. He just walked away. He just left. And thankfully we're in a small town where people help each other. But, you know, the kids were like, he couldn't say where he lived because he doesn't know how to read or speak. Like, my kid would have a gallon of ice cream and spoon. Kids have to be kids. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to do that every day. You're going to do that every once in a while. You know, have a little bit of fun. He is 7 right now. So he just started, that would be 2nd grade, because kinder is usually 5th. And then 1st is usually 6th. And then 2nd is usually, but he's like a year behind. So when are you usually supposed to start? Because I was a year ahead. I started kinder in 4th grade and then did 5th was 1st, and I was in 6th and I was in 2nd grade, and so I was a year ahead. But 7 and can't read. No, but they haven't tried yet. He's only in 2nd grade, so they don't even try. So no. And it's like, I guess she goes to the library. They went to the library, and she was saying, like, it's so weird. Like, we got our thing, and we've taken out like 1,200 books from the library last year, and he doesn't know how to read them. And it's like, well, maybe because you always read them to him. So why would he need to read if you read to him? And no one's ever tried to teach him to read. But yeah, it's something like until 5th grade, they don't start teaching reading or writing or arithmetic until 5th grade. And until then, they like, I mean, it's not a Montessori school. It's like way beyond that. Like, so until then, they like plant flowers and draw art and, you know, other kind of things. But yeah, I mean, I've made comments to her because he also, guess how old he was when he finally potty trained. Guess how old he was when he potty trained. My oldest daughter was reading at 2 years old. She's 6. Yeah, I mean, my kids. I remember my youngest he was called the mathematician of the year when he was a kindergartner. But guess, hold on, let's see if Sam seems like he's into something. Hold on, one second. But guess how old he was when he finally was potty trained? Yeah, like just take a guess. Sam, did you come out here, buddy? Sam, you know, bud? Huh? Okay. See, there's another one of your classy jabs. Did I make a classy jab? Did I say something? See, I didn't even notice it. Did I say something? Who said something? Or did Cricket say something? Who said something? And what was it? But so I'll just tell you that my first son, I decided that I was not changing 2 sets of diapers at the same time. So my first son, my second was born when my first was 2 years and 2 months. So I was like, oh yeah, like what? Like why would he need to read? You read for him. So I was like 2 years, 2 months. You need to be totally out of diapers because I'm not changing 2 sets of diapers. So first one, 2 years, 2 months. He was totally out of everything. And part of how I did it, well, it was summer, so we just let him be naked, and we had the little potty. And you know, before he'd pee, he'd like stop and go, and we just like run and put the potty under and be like, yay! And we give him a little snack. And so he was like, oh, you know, hey, you know, yeah, I like this. I pee in the potty and then I get a snack. So 2 years, 2 months, he was done with everything. And then the pooping came. It was hard for him to poop, and I was like, well, do you know? And I named all his friends. I'm like, Kelly poo-poo's potty and Jamie poo-poo's potty. Don't you want you to poo-poo potty? And then he poo-poo potty. And the second one was a little more normal. I think he was 2.5 when he pooped, was done pooping. But I think my kids were really early in the potty training. I think that's young to be fully potty trained. My grandsons are 3 and 4 and both potty trained. I think that's probably, that is an average age. And that is an average age. They say that once they turn 6, if they're not potty trained, it becomes a habit. And the likelihood of getting them to become potty trained, if they turn 6, it gets much harder to potty train after that because it becomes a habit. It's a habit. And, you know, it's hard to change habits. So he was about 7. Yeah. He did kindergarten and when he was 5. And he might be in 1st grade, actually. I don't know. He had to do kindergarten twice. And then 1st grade, I know there was a problem because he wasn't potty trained. But yeah, he was. I remember this was, my mom just stopped. Oh, hey. Good to have you back there, girl. Hey, KK, how you doing, girl? Looks like he might need some special help. I mean, you know, well, God, this is getting a rabbit's hole story. This is getting down to be a rabbit's hole story. And I'm gonna go check my son and see if he needs lunch in a minute. But so here's just a little more of the rabbit's hole story. So the mom got breast cancer before she even got pregnant. And she found out in 2019 that it had come back and she had metastatic breast cancer. And she didn't tell any of us. You know, she told the family, but not us. Oh, thank you, KK. And well, maybe you were talking to Cricket. Maybe you weren't thinking of me. So no, screw you, KK. She didn't tell any of us, so we didn't know. But I remember that right about that time, he started just hitting her. He would just hit her, like out of the blue. Like she would be like, "Hey, go do," and he would just hit her. And he was mean to her, and he would not listen to her. And now I put it together that probably he knew in his child perceptive minds, you know, they live in a small San Francisco house. It's like 800 square feet. It's probably worth $1 million, you know, and probably knew, you know, my mom's sick. So he was probably acting out because he knew mom was sick, and maybe he blamed himself because kids blame themselves for everything, you know, or maybe he just knew that they were not being truthful with him. But I remember right about the same time she got told that her cancer had come back, he just started acting out like nobody's business. And I remember one time he was at my house, and I'm one of those moms who, like, if you are at my house and you act badly, I will parent you. I mean, you know, there's a, you know, I'm not going to go, you know, too far. I know what the limitations are, but I'm not going to let people be badly behaved at my house. You know, it's just not going to happen. So I remember one time we're sitting there eating dinner, and like his mom had some, I don't know, but he like hit her, and she said, "Do you want this?" And he was just like, "No." And he was rude to her. And he was just like, I think like she gave him a glass of something, and he like threw it. And I was like, come here. And I made him sit on my lap. I'm like, you do not act that way to anybody, but especially your mom. I said, I don't ever want to see you put your hands on your mother again. And she's all like, it's okay. I'm like, no, it's not okay. And I was like, you do not throw things, especially food, in my, you know, and I just like zip that real fast, you know. And I was like, pick up the cup and and hug your mom and say you're sorry. And if I ever see it again, you're going to go sit in the bathroom in the dark by yourself. And, you know, he did still do it, but not at my house. And just lots of things like you could tell he had a lot of anger towards his mom that he didn't have towards his dad. But he was weird. Like they would come to our house with like 8 changes of clothes and still need to do laundry because that wasn't enough changes of clothes. He pooped in our pool. He peed on our trampoline. I mean, he was just like, this is not normal things that like 6-7-year-olds do. You know, I mean, it's just like, and my kids were kind of like disgusted by it. They're like, you know, and my kids would always say, is there something wrong with him? Is he like, you know, like maybe he needs some special help? And they're always like, oh no, he's fine. And I'm like, it's no, like, I remember my youngest son, we went and got him tested because he talked late. But what we found out was since his older brother spoke for him, he didn't need to speak. So tactile functions, he was like off the charts, like way beyond his ability because he needed to keep up with someone 2 years older than him. But as far as talking, you know, we would all talk for him. He just, so he was fine. He didn't need to talk, but he needed to be able to like run and jump and stuff like that. So, but we had him tested for everything. I mean, that's just what you do. So anyway, so I don't know, but, they did not tell him in 2019 when the cancer came back. And so she was put on medication, blah, blah, blah. And then like in 2022, the medication stops working. And that's when things get bad. Like you're all going on great and you're on medication. But when the second time medication stops, then that's when you have a no shit moment. Because especially when it goes to your liver, like that's probably, I mean, you know, a professional would say you should tell your child as soon as you're diagnosed, but, you know, child needs to prepare. So, and so I asked them both. I'm like, what has he said about the cancer coming back in 2022 and not responding to medication anymore? And, I don't know what the prognosis is, but, usually it's not very good at that point. But, and they just ignored my message and don't, I mean, the family treats me like absolute shit. So, I mean, like, the mom got in trouble for abusing my kids, and I gave her an ultimatum. And so she went to the rest of the family. Hey, Jackie, dude. And so she went to the family immediately, like the day that I said, I'm giving you an ultimatum. You need to go get therapy. You need to take all of our messages that we have sent back and forth over the last year, and you need to say, I'm having some trouble communicating, and show the therapist all of this and say, please help me. What am I doing wrong? I said, go do that, or you're not talking to my kids again. Because, like, we would try and have get-togethers, and it was always like, they would always say something, like, just no bueno. And they refused. They're like, nope, won't do that. Nope, absolutely not. Cannot do that. And we're like, okay, well, if your choices are go to therapy 4 hours a month and not see grandkids, we'd rather not see grandkids. Okay, well, there you go then. I got my answer. So I haven't seen him in 4 years. So anyway, what was I going to say? I mean, and in 4 years, the kids, so basically as soon as I gave her that ultimatum, what she did was she went to everybody in the family and told them that I had a problem. And just turned this all around, just gaslit the whole situation to I've got a problem. There's my phone. And I'm trying to make her. Where is it? I hear it. And I'm trying to make her go to therapy, and there's no need for that, and I'm just sick and blah blah blah, and just totally turned everyone against me. Like, literally, like, the sister will not talk to me. Like, I remember sitting on the phone while, like, my husband talked to the sister, and the sister was like, well, mom said, she did this. And he's like, no, that never happened. And she's like, well, so the sister hates, like, everybody hates, like, thank you. I mean, so they've literally made everybody hate me. And they flat out say, the problems your kids have are because you did it. And I'm like, really? Okay. So that's the situation. That's the situation. Is that to them, and they think they've decided now that I'm an abusive wife and I'm abusing my husband and that's why he doesn't hang out with his family more, because of me. Not because his children refuse to, and because the therapists that they've gone to have said, do not let them around their abusers until their abusers get help. So do not go to family dinners and and the children will not go, but it's me. It's me. That's called gaslighting. So that's that side of the story. So then there's the brother-in-law. Now, he's kind of the only person we tried to have a relationship with, but he believes his mom. So he wants to get the kids together. And I'm like, the kids don't want to get together. Like, you don't understand what's going on. Like, you believe what your mom's told you. Like, you truly, like no one has ever, what it takes for a kid to, like, say, I was molested when I was 10, and I didn't say anything. Because I knew, like, I probably wouldn't be believed and blah, 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 blah. But you don't know what it takes for a child to come forward and then to have no one believe them, but say that it was their mom when they know it wasn't. I mean, like, they don't want to be around these people. I mean, it's like, it's so weird. And then like, and then for me to hear things like, are you sure that she didn't just poison the kid? Like, why would I do that? Like, I'm the one who was like writing the email saying like, can you please do this? Can you please try, like trying everything under the sun to keep a relationship going? I mean, it's bizarre, but like, how do you deal with like, so I've looked it up, and the brother he's the golden boy, like he's the golden child, you know, right? So he thinks they're perfect, and he thinks I'm horrible, and he wants to get my kids together with the cousin, but my kids don't want to be around. Like, and so he's now decided that I must be a controlling, abusive wife, and that's why. I mean, it's like the craziest stories you've ever heard. Like the craziest stories you've ever heard. Like, I don't know if any of you have dealt with narcissists, but like to this level, like to the level that it's being like, I mean, like sometimes I think I'm in a dream when like I saw my husband's phone once, and he was like, you know, avoiding your family is the first sign that you're in an abusive relationship, talking about me. And I'm like, what? Like, me and my husband have the most loving relationship ever. Like, we barely fight. I mean, when people say we never fight, they're fucked up or they're lying, because everybody fights a little bit. I mean, it's not normal to never fight. I mean, but we don't fight. We communicate. You know, we have disagreements, and then we like, you know, work it out. But it's just like, what? Like, that's the story that, and then I know that there's this whole faction of people who believe this shit, which is even more hurtful to me, that they all believe that crap. And then my kids know that that's going on. And so they don't know, you know, so it's like, I'm like stuck in the middle. I don't know, like, I don't really know what to do. Like, I don't know. Like, so this week I had all these skits I planned. Like, I was going to do a skit on, you know, the person who said that I'm all like broke back, you know, living in my garage with my little plastic bags and my purses and stuff like that. Like, as if like, does this look like a garage, or does this look like a 200 square foot room built to be a walk-in closet? And where do these things come from? I don't know. Like, I mean, like, how damn dumb do you have to be to like clearly there's only one place that there's a picture, and that's Patreon, and it has a whole walkthrough of it. So you watched all that and you really thought that, and why would you say that? Like, are you trying to make me sound like I'm like some ghetto girl or something? Like, ghetto girl garage for life? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if this was a garage, that'd be fine. It'd be a garage, but it's not a garage. It's like look at all those shoes. That was like a freaking garage. I don't know. People are fucking weird. Fucking are people weird. Yeah, remember, I don't know if you see my friend Rufina. That was another crazy story yesterday, but anyway, she got me this hat. Isn't it cool? It's Chanel. It's like $132. I need more friends like that, man. That's the kind of friends I need. Now I need a friend who, like, I don't know. I need a friend to buy me some mink clothes. I don't know. I'm gonna go check on my son real quick to see if he needs lunch, because he's home and it's 1:00 here. But if any of you have been like in these kind of situations, like what do I do? Like, so now the brother-in-law is like just nagging. Like, I just want to get the cousins together. And, you know, something's wrong with you guys, because that's all I want to do. I just want to get the cousins together. And, you know, either you're controlling wife and you're, you know, abusive, or the other thing. Like, my husband is one of the most straight and narrow people you've ever met. He's like, I think Colin's on drugs, because he's avoiding. What? Like, no senses are made in any of these. Like, it just like doesn't. It's just like what? So since we don't want to get together, our kids with your kid, because our kids don't want to, because of everything you guys have put them through, I'm an abusive wife and he's a drug addict now. Like literally, he's the most straight and narrow person I've ever met in my life. And I'm like the least controlling person in the world. I'm like go be you. I see your point clearly and definitely. Yeah, isn't it crazy? Isn't it absolutely crazy? I mean, I don't, like the big problem that happens is that if we all get together, what then happens when they leave is that there will be all these discussions and it'll open all these wounds, right? All these old wounds will be brought up. And the kids will start thinking about Nanny and Grampy. You know what I mean? Like all these old wounds get brought up. And, I don't know if, the kids are just getting really like happy about things and like normalized from things. Like, I don't know if I want to open, like my son, both my kids go to a tech school. My oldest is salutatorian of his class. He's number 2 in his class of a tech class. I'm so proud of him. Like, I don't need him going backwards. You know what I mean? But see, so how do you get away with that? Because people make you feel like shit when you're not, like, when you don't have relationships with your family, people make you feel like shit. People make you feel like you've done something wrong. And that's where my husband has the problem, is that he, like, feels like shit. Like, the worst part was, we talked to them and we gave them one more chance. And this was right before Christmas, and my birthday's Christmas Eve. And he had written them a letter that really broke my heart, that talked about how hurt he was, how he never felt they were there. I mean, it was a letter that like I'm a mom of a boy. Like if either of my sons wrote me that letter, like literally, like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to shave my head and gain 100 pounds and walk around naked in the streets every night? I'll do it. Whatever makes you happy. You know what I mean? And they never wrote back. Never. And then he wrote them a second letter, like in February, being like, thank you for just ignoring me through the holidays and not saying Merry Christmas, not saying happy birthday to my wife, like not saying any, like, to the children. Never heard back from that either. Like, what kind of mother are you how do you do that? How do you do that? I don't understand. But the problem is that while we say, we just have some things that we don't agree with, they say she's a controlling, abusive wife. And now the brother is saying my husband is a drug addict. And like this, the problem is that they plant these stories that are not nice, and it's hard to know. And I'm talking about real life now, like real people. It's hard to know that your whole in-laws, because I was married before and I had a great relationship with my in-laws. It's hard to know that there's a group of people out there that truly think and believe these things about you. It's hard to fathom. It's like you really think. Oh, my son just said, can you come here? Okay, so hold on 1 second. I'm going to go see what he needs. But if you have any advice for me, please let me know, because I don't know what to do. So hold on. Let me go see what my son wants. I'll be right back. be like, come on, Sam. Come on, Sam. Sam, now, you just say we agree to disagree with how to bring up our families. I know. It's just, they're very, they're the kind of people who, Sam, come here, Sam, come here. Come here. Sam goes outside now, and then he comes in my studio. Come here, Sam. Sam. Oh, he's going that way. He's got a little grass. He's got a grassy knoll that he sits and he hunts out of. But like, the problem is like, there's a lot of family on the East Coast, and we've never gone out there. Because like the first time they went, I was pregnant. The second time I was pregnant, and I don't like to fly and blah, blah, blah. So like I was going through and like doing some paperwork, and I saw this letter from one of my husband's aunts and uncles, which live on the East Coast, which his parents see. And they're like, we're so glad that, I mean, it was just all about dissing me. You can come up to type. Yeah. Anytime anybody wants to come up, they can always come up. I always just forget. I actually heard Mr. Pork's voice the other day, and it was really nice. So anybody who wants to come up can come up. I always just forget to do it. So it's nothing personal. And then I can eat my Milky Way. It sucks when you can't work for. I know. And that's what the brother's making it sound like. I'm just trying to get the cousins together, and I don't know why you guys are being so difficult. And it's like, but you don't understand, there's 4 years of backstory here. Okay, do you want your camera on or off? You okay? Okay, here you come. Here you come, Kiki. Hello.
Hey.
Your hair isn't red anymore.
No, it's like a lavender.
It looks blonde. It looks almost white blonde. Gray.
No, it's gray. It's gray, and that little red that was in there, when I colored it with gray, it came out like a lavender. Hi, Erin.
It looks good. I like it.
Thank you.
And you know what you can do? You can use purple shampoo, and it'll make it like tone it. It'll get rid of some of the lavender.
I like this color right now.
I like it too.
I don't know if I'm gonna change the hair color more or not. So, like this, I put gray in there, and like I said, that's what that came out to be.
Just have fun with it. Have fun with it.
Oh, I always do.
See, that's the thing. People should be having fun. They should not be fighting about stupid family crap. That's what pisses me off. It's like, and I told him, I said, do not keep nagging your brother because you're going to lose your relationship. He wants a break from you. You don't seem like no one has ever shown any empathy for these kids. Like they simply do not believe it happened, and they believe that I made it up. I somehow like made them memorize it and say it.
Did you read my thing up above about God? Here, wait
about bringing up our families. Probably not.
No.
I don't remember a God one. Just bring up our families. Both men stay away. Hat.
Oh. Where'd it go?
Where did it go? I don't see a God one.
It was in there.
There you go. Hello.
Okay, wait a minute. I'll see if it works.
I saw this thing yesterday that I put it on my community. Oh, there you are. God of the black sheep family was known to put one of the black sheep children in family. It's the only way to have to amuse himself. That's funny. It's interesting. So the school my son goes to, they do this authors fest every year, and they have to write a book. And so my son wrote this book, and it was amazing. It was about a guy who decided he just wanted to go off on his own into the peace of life and like help humanity. It was like really deep thoughts. Like he didn't want to live in the city anymore and just make money to make money. He wanted to go live in nature and like help like life and nature and animals and just live in the sanctity of where he was. It was beautiful.
Yeah. I had a friend, her son did that too. He went and he followed, went and lived in the nature, living off the land. And I mean, literally like living out of a tent to, that kind of
I
stuff.
don't think he could do that. He's a little too spoiled.
Well,
there's no Wi-Fi in that.
Yeah. Well, but, I had a very good relationship with my mother-in-law. Okay. But as the time went by, I never had any problems, but the rest of the family I did.
Yeah.
I'm one that will blow up. I blow up. So that's why I'm the black sheep of the family. No matter what I say or do. Now, they've hit me. I've never hit them. I mean, maybe in self-defense as far, but never hit them. And my brother broke my right arm.
Oh my God.
And at the end of a school year in high school, when you had all those tests you had to do and all that, my arm broke. I had to take the test in the left hand.
Oh my God. And there were no computers.
My sister used my head as a basketball.
Oh my God.
I've gotten beaten by the other brothers and sisters. But you know what? It just told me, it's you guys. Yeah. It was you guys. I know who I am, and I have to accept for who I am.
And that's the hard part. Yeah, that's the hard part, is everyone thinks, because, she's like uber Catholic. So, on Christmas, she has her little Christmas outfit with her little Christmas, necklace and earrings. And, they live in a very like exclusive community with this like very expensive house, and they go to church every Sunday. So they're like the perfect people, right? Like if they lived in the ghetto and made meth, everyone would believe that they were the way they are. But because of the way they look, it's like, oh, they must be okay. Meanwhile, to be honest, they're monsters. They're freaking monsters inside. Like I want to show you. They have done.
I want to show you my eyes. You like my eyes back there?
Yes, I do. Those are cool.
That's my dragon eyes.
Those are
I had them specially made for me.
Those are cool.
This is all Oriental stuff.
Did you have them made?
Yeah, I had the eyes made. Yeah.
Did you make the other things?
No, these are Japanese. Japan.
You know what I have? So, I am all cats. And I have a tattoo, which is of Bastet, who was an Egyptian goddess, who was the mother and protector of all domestic cats. So I actually have papyrus, old hieroglyphic papyrus of Bastet.
Oh, that's cool. That is cool.
It's pretty neat. But like whenever you see in like pictures and stuff, the woman with the black cat, that's the goddess Bastet. And she's the mother and protector of all cats. And I'm the cat lady. I'm the crazy cat lady.
As the other family not being as supportive that we would wish them to be, and they're complaining about us, I put it this way, life is.
Hey, Heather.
Hi, Heather.
9 stray cats. Oh my God. Have fun with that.
And 2
You're
of
gonna
them
be doing a lot of spaying and neutering.
Yeah. I figured it this way, I broke away from my family. I mean, I do talk to them, but I'm not close to them. I don't go to any of the holidays, get together. Well, that was also because my husband and my daughter didn't want it,
Yeah.
They didn't want that to be around that. But my husband is like that all the time. He didn't even really want to go to his family. But what it is nice about it is your own family keeps nice, positive, and keep going, being around each other, you know? And that's the best thing about it is if you treat your kids. I'm the only one that's been married once. Still married.
Good
But
for
them
you.
2 or 3 marriages, and it's like, are you kidding? Are you really kidding?
The funniest thing is, so she's so Catholic, right? And there's the Apostle Paul, and in his teachings about marriage, I don't know why I know this because I'm like, but he says that when a man gets married, he needs to leave his mother and father and become one with his wife. And then he needs to be a father, and he needs to take leave of being a son and a sibling. And if he doesn't do that, he will not have a successful marriage. And I think that's her problem, is that, you know, she's the narcissistic matriarch. And, you know, so how dare I, you know, like she didn't gain a daughter, she lost a son. I mean, the other son is with someone who all she wants is to get married. And she's probably not going to be here in another year or so. And that's the only thing she wants. And he has a ring. He has bought her a ring. I've seen it. And he will not get married. And I think part of that is he feels that to marry another woman would be to betray his mom.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, he was constantly like, well, they're old. You need to just let it go. It's like, no, I don't need to teach my children that you just say okay to abuse. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. If someone treats you in a way that you shouldn't be treated, you walk away. It doesn't matter if that's your grandparent or a friend or whoever. Like, you love yourself enough to walk. And that's what I'm going to teach my kids. Not like, oh, well, they're old, so it's okay. You know, what do you do? Like, oh, you're 60, you're not allowed to rape people. You're 80, you rape whoever you want. I mean, no, it doesn't work like that.
Nope. Yep. Like a friend of mine has been calling me, and she was telling me about that her boyfriend, how do I want to say this? Her boyfriend, mother passed away, and he has to take care of the dog. And he takes the dog anywhere and everywhere with him, even to bed, between them.
That's so cute.
Well, no, he like if they want to go out to a restaurant, he wants to take the restaurant.
Hey, there you go.
I don't.
Oh, he takes the dog everywhere now?
Yeah, and sleeps in between them, and they can't, you know, he can't go places where she wants to go because he has to have the dog, you know?
Yeah.
And he won't come stay at her house because of the dog. And I says, do you realize that you're being manipulated to doing everything his way? You know?
Right.
Sex
God,
is
this
one
dog sounds like a cat.
Yeah. Well, no, the boyfriend. The boyfriend is, you know, controlled. You know, it's like I told her, no.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand. And I mean, and this just goes to like my whole, like, I don't understand why people just treat people poopily. Like, it just makes no sense to me. Like, you know, like just, you know, 4 years ago when we first brought it up, it's like all you would have had to do was give a genuine apology and fix the issue. Because what they were really sad about was that Thanksgiving was their favorite holiday. And not only were they told that no one was doing anything for Thanksgiving because of COVID, because that was right when the second time around when they said everybody stay home. So they said we're not doing anything.
Mhm.
And so finally it's like 7 o'clock here and we hadn't heard anything. So my husband calls them and everybody's down there. And it's like, so you told us that nobody was doing anything, but yet y'all are down there.
Yep.
And the same thing for Christmas. They all
Yep.
said, we're not doing anything. And they were all down there. And then I remember the father-in-law, his 85th birthday, my husband called and said, do you want us to come down? You know, it's his 85th. We'll come. And then, oh, no, you know, we're seniors. We don't need to celebrate. We're not. Calls. They're all there. So it's like, what is it? Is it, you know? And here's
Well,
another funny story. This will just give you like an insight into the mother. So she's got this refrigerator and she's got pictures on all down the side. And there were pictures of everybody on it except me. There were pictures of the cousin's dog. This not the little cousin, but some other cousin's dog.
yeah.
But not me. And I had been married for like 10 years and I had 2 grandchildren for them. The grandchildren were on there. My husband was on there, but I wasn't on there. And so, you know, I told my husband that was very hurtful. And so he said something and they said, oh, we just don't have any good pictures. So I
Oh,
made them this really nice collage of like the
yeah.
whole family. So they put it upstairs in their bedroom where no one would see it. So in their bedroom, they have this closet where they have like old games, like old
Yeah.
board games from like, you know, the 70s.
Mhm.
And so my kids went up there to get the games and they said, oh, mommy, the collage you got is up there, but your face is covered up. You know, so, you know, the little prayer cards you get when people die, she put a prayer card over my face. And so, you know, I went up there and looked at it and I was like, wow, well, that's, you know. So I talked to her and I was like, have you ever seen in the movie when people break up and you like rip up the pictures or you cover up someone's face? I'm like, why do you have my face covered? You know, it's the only picture that is just my face. And she's like, oh, I just really like that prayer. And I was like, well, I think it's really ignorant and I don't appreciate it. And I would like you to take the picture off my face, please. And she's like, oh, okay. So she did. And then the next time we went down, my face was covered up again. And it's like, really? Like, really? Like, okay. So you just don't like me. Like, just have the balls to say it, you know? And I've talked to her and I've said, you know, I know you just don't like me and you don't accept me. And, you know, oh, no, and I'm like, no, you don't.
No,
just,
you don't.
you know, have the balls to say it. You have been brought up to believe that I am everything that, like, you know, I'm too loud, I'm too whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you've got it in your head that women should be a certain way, and I'm not that. And so you don't like me, and, you know, I'm divorced, and blah, blah, blah. And just say it. Just say it. Just get it out there. Because 2 things that I can't stand is toxic positivity and passive aggressive bullshit. Can't stand it.
Okay, I'll be back. I have to go. My dryer went off. I'll be right back.
Okay. But toxic positivity is like when people say, like, you know, you're like, oh, you know, I just found out I have cancer. And people are like, oh, well, a lot of people have it worse. Or, you know, oh, you know, you don't know why God gives you things. But, you know, it's like, you're allowed to say that bad things do happen to people sometimes. Like, you know, you don't always have to be positive about everything. You know, it doesn't always have to be like, oh, God will never give you more than you can handle. Like, sometimes you can say, like, life sucks, you know, and bad things happen. And I don't know. Like, these people are and the brother just wrote like a text this morning. It was just like, I don't think you guys get it. I just want to get the kids together. And it's like, no, we get it just fine. You don't get it. Like leave us like, I don't know. People like, I think I wanted to do this live because I just wanted to know that I wasn't cuckoo. That like here's like people say like I'm not crazy for feeling the way I feel. Because sometimes, you know, because I can be loud, you know, and I can be, you know, whatever. And so sometimes I'm like, well, am I the problem? Like, I don't think I am, but maybe I am, you know, like it's just, I'm going to burp right now. No, that was a hiccup. No, that was a hiccup burp. But it's like, you know, they make you think you're crazy, you know? And so my poor husband, he's finally learning to communicate, because he was brought up that, like, if you say something that hurts someone's feelings, then you're wrong. You know, like, I try and teach my kids, I have unconditional love for you. So I will love you under, like, there's no condition under which I will stop loving you. Like, no matter what, I will always love you. I might not like what you've done, but I will always love you. And they're total conditional lovers. Like, you know, like there was one text we sent back. It was the last one I did about the ultimatum. And I was like, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And they texted back and they said, no, we think you should do. And it's like, no, like, you don't get to rebuttal, you know, like, you don't rebuttal our ultimatum. And that's a narcissist thing to do, like, to take control. Like, she made it about her. She took control over it. And then if it doesn't happen, then it's because we're the assholes who didn't take her up on her offer. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think what's hardest for me is, you know, I like my husband did go through therapy to learn how to communicate better, because he was really bad at standing up for me. Like, I will stand up for anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere, like, boom. But he just, like, he would rather say nothing than start a fight. So like, if his mom's like, is Michelle okay? Like, he just won't say anything, which to her, she thinks he's saying, like, agreeing with her. But to him, he's saying nothing. So I'm like, you know, you have to be clear with people. You can't, you know, be wishy-washy, because then they think certain things, and that's not what you mean. And then nobody knows what anybody means. So he kind of went to therapy to learn how to communicate better. And he's doing a lot better. But it's like, you know, for so many years he was taught, like, just don't rock the boat, you know? Like, if you know, she said something about me, just like nod your head yes. Like, don't rock the boat, you know? And that doesn't do anything for anybody. Yeah. Like, you know, it's like the guy who won't break up with the girl and just, like, you know, breaks up with her and she's like, no, I'll hurt myself. And so he stays with her for like an extra year. And then the year goes by and they break up. And then she's like even more mad because she's like, you just wasted a year of my life. You know, and it's like, well, I thought you wanted it. Yeah, and I don't like confrontation either. Like they have done so many things to me, and I say little to not. Hey, turtle dove, it's 4:30 in the morning there. Jeez Louise.
Hello, turtle dove.
Like, it takes a lot for me to stand up for myself, but I will stand up for anybody else, like, in a heartbeat. Like his brother, like, sent a text and I was immediately like, bam. But if someone sent that to me, I probably wouldn't respond. You know, I don't know. I don't know why.
I'm not like that. I'm more of a blower upper. Well, when I was younger. I mean, I still.
Well, you're from Pittsburgh. When I was younger, I was a blower upper too. Like, when I was in my 20s and early 30s, I was a blower upper too. But I've mellowed.
Oh, I've mellowed a lot, because I had to find out that, you know, in amongst, I was trying to be a pleaser all the time. Yeah. You know, no matter what you wanted, I would, you know, do for you. But when it came to me, you didn't want to do anything with me or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're not pleasing yourself. I was the same way too. And it's, I think, like, are you Italian?
No, I'm German. I'm a Heinz 57. They say, you know that. Yeah, that's the Pittsburgh one.
Yeah, but I'm Italian. Well, Pittsburgh is either that or Italian. So I'm Italian. So damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, so, like, it takes a lot for me to blow up, but but I'm really calm for a long time. But then once I blow up, like bam, I blow up. Like I'm just, it's like an bomb. It just,
Yep.
but I'm calm. I'm very calm to a certain point. And then,
Well, the
and then
reason I
working.
came up with love and respect is that was my thing of saying, I'm going to give you my love and respect until you do something. But from there on, you know, I gave you everything of me. I
Yep.
gave you my love. I gave you my respect. You had my respect, that I thought you were a very intelligent, nice person, whatever your traits are. But
Right.
when you go and do that to, you know, it's like, forget it. You know?
Yep. And that's exactly how they are. It's exactly how they are. Like, I mean, I've always been kind to them. I've just, you know, and they have always been shitty to me. Always.
Yep.
Always.
Oh, I love it when you go and ask for a favor, even though they've asked it for favors or asked you for money, etc., like that, and then they don't want to, you know, do it for me, and I'm like, whatever. So I walked away from the family because both sides.
Yep. I know. I think what I'm in chat because I'm eating. Hold on.
Yeah, I know that.
The hard thing, who are we talking about? We're talking about my in-laws. And my my mother-in-law, they're basically narcissists. She's basically like the matriarchal narcissist. And I read about it. And so like her favorite son, he's the golden boy. The sister, they refer to them as flying monkeys. My husband, I think he's called the scapegoat. But most marriages where the hold on, someone new. Most marriages where like a situation like this where like the mother-in-law is the narcissist, and then there's the husband, and then there's me who's like, I'm like not going to be controlled, as the mother-in-law will try the mother-in-law will try very hard to break up the relationship. And she has done everything in her power to come between us, like in the last 20 years. I mean, so many things that I can name off that she has done to you know, and obviously it never works, but she tries her best. I mean, she, you know, she's Catholic. She should know that whole like Apostle Paul thing about marriage, that, you know, once you get married, you got to be a husband. You can't be a son anymore. You're like, I'm sorry. Like, I hate to tell her, but she is no longer number one in his life. I am. And she just can't deal with that. And it said something like 80% of marriages, like in a situation where there's like the husband, the mother-in-law who's a narcissist, and then like me, like break up. Like, it's very hard for people like me to stay in a marriage with a guy who has a narcissist for a mom. Which it is hard, especially when they don't stand up for you.
Yeah, and that was happening here. I had to bring it to my husband's attention too on that one.
Yeah, I was like, do you know? Because I remember with the thing when she put the paper over my face. I remember at one point he was like, "You're just being too sensitive. Can't you just let it go?" And I was like, I want you to say that back to yourself and really listen to what you just said to me. And then he did, and he was like, "Oh, that was really bad, wasn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was." I was like, "I'm the sensitive one." Yeah. Like, you know, but that's the way she is. And she's not going to change, and I know she's not going to change. And I've learned you can't change people, so I don't want her to change. I just don't want her out of my life. Like, just get out of my life. Yeah. I don't think it's that much to ask. I mean, and like with the brother-in-law right now, we're like, can you just like leave us alone for a little while? And he just keeps nagging. He just keeps nagging his brother. And I keep telling him, if you keep nagging your brother, he's going to not want you in his life. And he just keeps nagging. He finds one thing or the other, and he just, you know, like, it's like, I hate people like that. It's like, because like they don't respect your boundaries.
Yeah.
She loved all her daughter's kids and couldn't be bothered with mine as they're mine. Yeah, like, well, you probably weren't here for it, Turtle Dove, but she abused my children. And when I said you need to go to therapy to fix yourself, because she didn't even see what she did, she went to the whole family and told them that I poisoned the children against her and that nothing really happened. And it was like, are you kidding me? Like, I was so excited because my whole family's in Pittsburgh. So I was so excited to have family, a couple hours away for my kids to have grandparents a couple hours away. I was so excited. But why would I do that? Like, that would be so hurtful to my kids. Like, and anybody who knows me knows my kids are my everything. I would do anything for my children. Like, they are my world. So would I really do something to hurt my children? Like, no. Like, it's just, it doesn't make any sense. None of the things that they say make sense.
Kids are very resilient. Yeah, because they will, make up their mind. My daughter liked her cousins and still likes her cousins, but don't like the aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
And to me, with, how do I want to say? She came up very good. She was shown love, and we supported her and let her do what she needed to do. Not that she wanted to go drink or anything like that. Even if she did, that was her business. I mean, when she got older enough.
Yeah.
I'm your favorite troll too? Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, my thing is a troll. I like trolls, and I like...
I like your little troll. That's a cute little troll.
Wait a minute.
I think that's the hardest thing that there is for my husband, because like, I told him this like when it started, but I'm like, you might have to accept the fact that your parents aren't going to be in our lives, because he just kept saying like, well, give them time. They'll figure it out. Give them. I'm like, how many years do they have to go without seeing their grandchildren and their son and their daughter-in-law before they figure it out? How many years, like, my oldest has gone from 10 to 14. He's 14 now. You think you're going to start a relationship with him now? No. And he hates her. I mean, when he goes off, like if he sees her name somewhere or something like that, and I just let him go and get it out. But he's like, if her Catholic ears could hear, whoo, she'd be on the floor crying. But he wants nothing to do. And I've talked to them and I've said, they are older. If something would happen to them and they would pass, would you be okay if they pass without you saying goodbye to them? And they're like, yep. They're like, they haven't been in our lives for so long. It's like they don't even exist anymore. They're like, no, we're fine.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the hardest things that people like regret when they don't get to say goodbye. I'm like, would you have regrets if? And they're like, nope, not at all. And so I told my oldest, I said, why don't you write a letter to her? You don't have to send it, but just write it. So he's working on that. And like, sometimes that's good to just get it out. You don't have to send it, but just get it out. Here
was the last straw. My husband gave my brother-in-law the $5,000 to pay the taxes. My brother-in-law did not pay the taxes. We had to move because that house sold for $5,000.
Oh my God.
I had about 2 months to get everything moved. He got sick for a week. I'm still trying to move everything and ask him for help, and nobody's helping me. And when I'd say, here, do this, or do that, no. Everybody just, no. And, it's it's like still to this day, I've asked people to do certain things, still haven't got done. So, it's like this. I'll do what I can do. If I have to hire someone to do a couple things, I'm going to hire them.
Well, you
That's
let me
what it
know
is.
if you need help. You let me know if I can help you.
Oh no, it's hey, I'm glad my daughter bought the house for us.
Yeah.
We, and it was an emergency. She had to go through and do it. But I got a good daughter. I got an extremely good daughter. She used her mind since she was little.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, like, they literally did not say happy or Merry Christmas to their own. How do you not?
Because we have more love and consideration than a lot of people. We're more
I mean,
we're more special.
I would rather be wrong and have my children in my life than be right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know how kids are. They'll say things and it's like, no, that's not really right. But I'll just say it is. Yeah, you're right. Like, I would rather just say, yeah, you're right,
Get it
and I'm
over with.
wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and have a relationship than sit here and tit for tat. It's not worth it. Like, sometimes you
Yeah.
have to pick your battles, and it's not worth it. Like, I love my children. I'll be wrong, bald, fat, ugly, whatever they want me to be, as long as I get to be their mama.
Yeah.
I'll shave my head and run down the street naked, like I said. I don't care. Like, if that's what they ask me to do, I'd do it. Like, I just those are my children, those are my babies. So I don't understand how, as a mom, like I've said this to him, I'm like, she loses her mom card, in my opinion. Like, that
Yeah.
is no mom to me. That is a woman with a uterus.
Here's the thing. If you loved your son that much, why wouldn't you want a good communication with this daughter-in-law?
Yeah.
This
And
is
if
your
I was as
child.
crazy as they say I am,
Mhm.
wouldn't you go to that therapy to talk about the crazy daughter-in-law you have who keeps you from your grandchildren? You know what I mean?
No,
It's
yes
like,
and no. No, but yes,
well,
I
I know what you
agree
were
with,
saying, but I'm like, on both ends,
yeah,
you can see it.
yeah. Like I said, with something like that, you can't put your feelings uh, behind and honor your son with the love of his life. Because
Right.
all you do is push that person away more.
Yeah. It's
Because,
like,
like you said, we're a family here. We don't need you to be, if you don't want to be with us, you don't need to be over here. My daughter knew early.
oh my God. I'm so sorry,
Oh,
Turtle.
I hate that.
That's hard. That's hard.
Yes, turtle dove.
See, and that's what, it's like, do you really think
Mm-hmm.
that, because I've seen the text. I like,
Mm-hmm.
they don't understand that we're a team. So,
Yeah.
like, he has trouble saying, like, the hard things to say.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the messages that come from me, right? Like,
Yeah.
when the, like, good cop, bad cop, like, when he's like, this needs to be said, but I can't say it, it'll come from me. So they somehow in
Mm-hmm.
their mind think like there's me with my ideas and him with his ideas, and we
Mm-hmm.
don't coincide. And it's like,
Yeah.
you don't understand. We sit together and we write
Mm-hmm.
everything together. And if my
Yeah.
name's on it, it might be because it's a harsher one. And you know what I mean? But it's like,
Yeah.
we proofread everything, and everything is a group effort. We agree with each other. We would, like, we're a team, and we always have been. And it's like, do you really think when you degrade the most important woman in his life that he's going to love you for it?
Yeah.
Like, no. Like, when you sit there and you say all these horrible things about me, do you think that's going to, like, help you? Like, it doesn't. It pushes you away. Like, like it, and my husband and I, like, we haven't had a perfect marriage.
Yeah.
We've had our moments, like we've had bad things happen in our lives. We've had hard times, but we've always gotten through them because we love each other. And it's like, don't you get it? Like, we're here forever. Like, we're not breaking up. So you can either like get with the program, or you're going to lose your son and your grandkids. And at this point, it doesn't even matter about me. Like, I'm out of it. Like, I don't want them as a family. I'm out of it. I don't even, like, when I write things, I don't even talk about myself as if I'm part of it. Cause I'm done. I don't want anything to do with them.
Turtle Dove. Wow. That is harsh. Thank God I don't know her. I'd be right down.
Oh my God.
I would have stuck up for you. I would have been there, girl. And she knows us Pittsburgh people. We would have put a whoop down on you. Mouth-wise.
We would have taken her down the back alley, and we would have grabbed that baby, and we would have brought you that baby and tied her up in a garbage can.
Mm-hmm. She would have been there. I live in Pennsylvania. There's a lot of trees, a lot of land. I'm going to tell you, you could disappear and no one will ever find you. We'll plant
I do live in California, but I got a lot of land, and we got chippers around here, and we got like, all you have to do is go through the chipper down there, and no one will ever know.
I know, that just reminds me of a movie I watched, a program, and I can't think of the title of it.
The one in Mississippi or Missouri.
The one, no, this is a TV show about.
That's horrible.
They rob a store and all this and that. Then end up being lottery, washing money and stuff like that. And they can't get, every time they think they're going to get out of it, they can't. But it is a good program.
There's a movie like that too, and they have that accent, that Missouri or some accent, but like I think they put someone in a chipper, and it's like, we live in wildfire country, so everybody has a chipper. Like, I have a chipper. Yeah. I have a chipper that anybody can fit through. You'd never be found. You dig a hole. And we got mountain lions, and we got coyotes, and a couple of weeks goes by, those animals would dig those up and take those all over the place, and you'd never be found. So,
well, this one,
there you go.
She used one of those electrical knives you would carve turkeys and that with.
Yeah,
that's what she used, and then she had a deep freeze, and she threw it in her husband.
Oh, yeah, we have one of those chippers. You just go,
yep.
And I remember in the movie, it was just like, they did it during the snow.
Yeah,
and
it was flying all over. Yeah,
but we got like a whole bunch of like woods that way, and it's like, like, I live and you know how country people are. Country people stick together. They're like, chipper? I never heard of a chipper. Yeah. I don't know anybody who has a chipper. What are you talking about? But Turtle Dove, I'm sorry that happened. I mean, I guess you just have to make peace for it, and like, hopefully that baby will turn 18. Like, and that's what I've told him. I'm like, when my children are even before they're 18, if they ask for you, no, mama, no, let no. But once they turn 18, it's their choice. I mean, they're not going to anyway. But, so hopefully when she's 18, she will see who the real Turtle Dove is and, realize. Because I think, I think there are situations like mine, which, like, she's the crazy one. But there are probably a lot of situations where I really am the crazy one, and then the children get 18 and then they realize, what the truth is. But, and hopefully at 18, all kids do realize the truth. But I mean, you should never do that to a child. Like, that's the thing. Like, to think I would do that to a child, like, that's a horrible, horrible, horrible thing to, like, ruin a relationship for someone.
You know what? I got an idea for, was it Turtle Dove or was it someone else?
I think probably Turtle Dove.
Okay. see if they're on Facebook or any of that kind of stuff.
Oh, they're 14 and 17.
Okay. And what you could do is make it, you're not the grandmother yet, but go and say, you know, you should go see your grandmother. I regret not seeing mine, you know, stuff like that, you know, and act
We
like
should
you
do
are.
that. We should do that for her.
Yeah.
Like, just be like, just tell my story. Just get in and find a group they're in and just be like, you know.
Well, I think it'd be great for, great for, like, say, like me and you got and helped Turtle Dove. We went and give, you know, act like we're younger for sure, but you know, give advice to say, hey, this is, you know, act like we're kids and say, my grandmother died last night. I wish she was here. I didn't get to see her for years.
Well, like I never knew my father, and I did meet him once, and he was not, and I only met him because I wanted to ask about, like, you know, have you ever had heart attack, things like that. But like, he was a horrible man. Like I have it in Patreon. That's one of the things I'm gonna do in Patreon, because I switched all my memberships to Patreon. But I'm gonna do, like, because he tried to kill me twice. No, he kidnapped me twice. He tried to human traffic me. Like, he was a horrible person. And so I did meet him once when I was 18, because I wanted to, like, you know, I wanted to know. Because when he kidnapped me and stuff, when he tried to kill me, I was 1. When he kidnapped me, I was 2. And I was 2.5 when he tried to human traffic me. So I just wanted to meet him and just be like, you know, do you have heart disease, blah, blah, blah. And I met him, and he was the asshole that, like, I, you know, thought he would always be. But, you know, hey, it is what it is.
I met my dad once.
Well, you will see the story, Turtle Dove. It's a crazy one. And that's why, like, I have all these skits backed up, all these things I've been saying I was gonna do, and I've kind of like been a little bit away for the last week, and it's because I've been dealing with this crap, and it's just like, it's just consuming. It's all consuming. When it's emotional and mental, it's all consuming, because it's like, it's frustrating when people don't see, when you think you're right, like, you know, but people don't see it, you know, like, it's like this person truly believes, you know, what the story the mother has made up and gaslit everyone about. And it's like, you know, to know that I'm talking to someone who believes that I honestly would poison my children against their grandmother, for what reason would I do that?
Because they're thinking, because your mother-in-law don't like you, that you're doing this, getting the kids away from you, you know. And that's
the only reason she had a relationship with them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's so illogical. It's not even funny.
It's her mentality of what it is.
Yeah.
She's blaming you for it.
She said something once that was really interesting, and which was, I said something about, like, she tried to give me one of those, like, I'm sorry, but, and she said something about, like, she can't admit that, because then that would mean she was a bad person, and she can't do that. And there is something that I was reading about, that there are people who, like, they can't separate the person from the action. So to admit they've done something wrong, they can't just realize they've done something wrong. They think that they're a bad person, and they can't fathom that. And it's like, and that's why I always try and tell my children, I love you unconditionally. There's no condition that I will stop loving you. I might not like you for a minute. I might not like your actions, but I always love you. And there's a difference. Like, there's nothing you can do that will make me not love you. I will always love you. I might get mad at you. I might yell at you. I might not like you for a moment, but there's difference. And I think she's one of those people who she does not see that difference, because her son said one thing to her, and she's never written him back. Like, how do you not write somebody back? How do you ignore your child? Like, I don't get that. Like, he wrote the most heartfelt letter that I've seen in a long time twice, and she just ignored him. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Like you said, narcissistic.
Narcissist. It's called like maternal narcissism or something like that. And it's interesting because you have the golden boy, the flying monkey, and the scapegoat. And then God forbid you marry someone who has that mother. Good luck to you. Like 80% of them. Oh, you're Carol. See, you know what's funny? So many people have different names in different places, and I can never tell who people are. Like some person has one name, one place, and then some person's another name in Patreon. I can't keep everyone together. Oh, Jesus Christ, I almost fell down. But I got to go get my youngest in about 15 minutes.
I got to go too because husband cooked me some macaroni and cheese, so I'll go.
Yum. But thank you guys. I feel a little bit better now. It's hard.
Me up.
Anytime, girl. Anytime. Anytime, a Pittsburgh girl.
Hey, I think
the
we
flying
should
monkey kid is just the flying monkey kid is just the kid who like they support you and they'll never say anything bad against you, but they're not special in any way. They're just it's like in the Wizard of Oz, the flying monkeys. They're just there to protect. You know, they're there to distract. That's a flying monkey. Isn't that funny?
No.
Well, Turtle Dove I'll probably do a members live later this week. So just know that. I'll probably do a members live later this week. So.
I really think we should have a talk show between us two.
We should. Well, you know my email address. I'll write everything down. But
okay.
I'm going to go get ready to grab my other little, what is I can't type for crap lately.
I know.
The queen.
I gotta go get this hand operated on because it got worse and worse.
Oh my God, honey.
Look at this.
I'm serious. If you ever need anything, you let me know.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you to California.
Ugh.
I'd take you to the beach and I'd take you to the snow all in the same day.
Yeah.
Serious. All right, guys. I love you guys. Thank you. Everyone. You guys could do anything with your time and you hung out with crazy old me. So I love you guys. All right. Bye. Bye.